Thanks for coming back, everybody. I want to talk again about how pervasive this, our new government, global, I'm going to call it globalism, the effects of globalism, which I think have been contributed to by Canada in particular. The prime ministers we've had from Canada most recently have all come from the province of Quebec, and they were all trained under Napoleonic Code. And Napoleonic Code says that the crown is protected from the people. Napoleon just changed the word crown to state because when he realized how fabulous it is to be protected from the complaints, let's say, or the lack of justice that the people could get from living in the country and contributing to the national assets, we are shut out, which is what's happened to us here in Canada. I've been in the courtrooms of Canada many times. I rarely have won, but I have on 3 occasions. And even though the judges look at it and say, I have written my decision as well as I can, it says, I suggest to the Crown that Mr. Wheaton have his money returned to him and these charges of fraud be thrown out. And the Crown always says the same thing, fuddle-duddle to that. The Crown has taken $5,000 of my money, and I work hard for that money. The Crown even took it illegally. The Crown admits it is illegal what it has done, but the Crown does it anyway. I'll give you another example if you just think it's about me that I'm griping. There were people in the city of Vancouver who were stopped by the Vancouver City police officers and charged with drunk driving, and it isn't true. They were falsely charged, fined. The fines went up to more than $50 million, plus they all get a criminal record, all of them. So they hired a lawyer. Now the judge that heard this case, his last name, if I have it correct, is McEwen. And the lawyer represented them as a class action lawsuit, that they're not drunk. They are driving, they're not drunk. And they have criminal records now. This is, in Canada, it's a roadside criminal record. You are guilty till proven innocent, which is the same as Napoleonic Code. That's how Napoleonic Code has crept into our criminal justice system. You do not get heard by a jury of 12, your peers. You do not get to hear, and the judge usually has, in fact, my own experience, the judge has private time with the lawyer to discuss how to defeat your case. And that's happened to me a few times. I have complained about it. One judge had to resign over this issue. Another judge took early retirement rather than resign. When you catch them doing these kind of things. But judges in Canada, this is how we do it. They speak to the lawyer defending the Crown. If you're self-represented, they do not talk to you at all. They hate us, and I've used the right word. They call it riffraff. That's what we are regarded as, riffraff. A woman judge in Calgary, Alberta, very famous woman judge, way up the ladder. She referred to the people self-represented as riffraff, but she really liked lawyers. She used to be one. So that's our system of justice in Canada. It's fascist as hell. And you cannot make, no judge in Canada has authority to demand that money be returned to you or anything like that. These $50 million in fines, the Judge McEwen, he agreed with the lawyer. These people are not guilty. Now, when you win your case, the lawyer gets paid by the Crown. When the lawyer defeats the Crown has to pay the lawyer's fees. McEwen would not allow it. McEwen would not allow it. So the lawyer said, you can't do that. And the judge got right feisty with him. Oh yeah? Watch what else I can do. They're not getting the $50 million back either. That's theft. The city of Vancouver has stolen $50 million. It is theft. No one can be charged with it. The police do not have authority here. They do not. If the judge says you're going to prison for life, you are. It's amazing here. You can't believe this country. You can't believe it. Complain all you like. And the judge just says, well, I'll take early retirement, which he did. His name is Patrick Dome. I complained about him. They had a love-in for him when he took early retirement. I'm going to call it that because my lawyer friend was helping me. He said, Patrick Dome, he says, and all these big law firms get together and what they're going to do is thank him for helping them get rich, because judges do that for law firms. My lawyer friend, I'm going to quote him here. Some law firms are so important that a judge would not dare rule against them. It just once in a while the judge will say, you know what, You guys have won so many cases, this one you can't win. Doesn't matter about justice, doesn't matter about rule of law. It doesn't. It should, of course. But over time, relationships get built up between judges and corporate law firms or civil law firms. Pick one. In fact, this happened. Jean Chrétien was held accountable by a man named Judge Gomery, who was retired. He was a barking dog. He was given this, there was a sponsorship scandal. Hundreds of millions of dollars went missing from Canada and was dumped on Quebec to keep it from separating from Canada. That was the only issue that Jean Chrétien had, was how to keep Quebec in Canada, so he flooded it with money. Money from Canada, not money from Quebec. He would not take any money from Quebec, but he took it from all departments in Canada. In fact, I was in a training program. Jean Chrétien committed $500 million to retraining, and I'm one of them. Not one penny ever went to us. He ordered it. The guy's name is Doug Young. He was the Minister of Human Resources Development. I tell you, in Canada, we keep changing everything. It used to be employment insurance. It used to be lots of stuff. But every time we get a new prime minister, they change the names of all the goddamn departments. So you got to start over. And everything changed. The emails changed. You got to register for this and something else. Canada loves to screw everybody up. We'll change it, right? So anyway, the $500 million disappeared. I was so incensed by it, I hired a lawyer to find out what happened to it. The lawyer called me into his office. It took him a while. He said, "You're probably wondering what took so long." He said, the government of Canada fought me vigorously to hide this. And he says, the more they lied to me, and he says, and I'm a lawyer, but the government of Canada lied to me. I wanted to know even more. He said, I found out where the money went. All $500 million was returned to Ottawa as general revenue. He said, not one penny was spent. Now, I have been 3 agents here. I have all their business cards. They're paid bonuses in Canada to screw you and me out of our entitlements. There's a bonus system in Canada created by Pierre Elliott Trudeau, Prime Minister from Quebec, who said it was the dark side of excellence, but he loved it. If you pay people bonuses to screw somebody else, they'll do it. They also got the big government pension coming. They can also call the RCMP, who will show up at your house and shake you down, or pull you over on the side of the road and put a gun to the back of your head, which happened to me on one occasion. And the RCMP lied about it. I had an investigation. They lied. So I wrote them back. My lawyer friend was helping me at this time. His name is Richard Urquhart, who held a gun to my head, and he's an auxiliary police officer. I found this out on my own because the police won't tell you. Everything the police do in Canada is a secret. It's a secret here. It's a secret society, a secret police department, secret proceedings. In the Federal Court of Canada, it is a secret held against the public. The Federal Court of Canada was created by Pierre Elliott Trudeau. I've been there 3 times. The Crown has never, ever allowed me to see a transcript. The Crown refuses to do so because under the Federal Court of Canada rules, the public are locked out. Only a member of the bar may. The lawyer is a member of the bar, and so is the judge. And I always thought that's weird. Why is the judge a member of the bar? Why are they both in the same union? That's what it is, effectively. It's the same union. Why is this happening? Anyway, it happens, and we get to suffer under it. It's like before the days of Magna Carta, which started this whole ball rolling that the people could protect themselves from royalty. Speaking of royalty, I'll stop complaining about me for a minute. I watched Harry's wedding, Harry and Meghan Markle. And the invitees, the people who were there was quite a few rugby players and some Hollywood people and dignitaries, from England and wherever, mostly just almost like they were from the entertainment industry. And I noticed that the second reception, which was private, and nobody could take a picture. Well, one picture did get out, and it's Prince Charles soaked in it's either champagne or it's beer down his jacket. It's Victoria Beckham and her husband, David, and they're trying to talk to Prince Charles, who's leaning forward to hear her because I expect the music was really loud. And it was jovial. You could see in the background that George Clooney, who started out as the bartender, is now dancing with somebody, and he was quite famous for his dance moves, I guess, and this and this. But the joke was that there was only one woman that refused to dance with George Clooney. If I can tell this joke, because it's good. I like this joke. He went to see Prince Andrew's former wife, and she refused to dance with him. She has red hair. Her name escapes me right now. It's interesting. But anyway, Fergie, thank you. Fergie, they call her Fergie, that's her nickname. Anyway, she flatly refused to dance with George Clooney. But the joke is this. She wasn't invited to the second reception. She couldn't get in anyway. And Prince Harry had a couple of ex-girlfriends who promised they wouldn't gate crash. That's what they call it in England. If you didn't get an invite to a party and you crashed it anyway, they call it gate crashing. Would have been interesting for Harry's ex-girlfriends. One of them he wanted to marry, in fact. Maybe both of them. Anyway, let's get back to Harry's party. That was a rugby wedding. I looked at these guys, they're holy frig, they're really big. So I had a question. What did you guys eat? Now, I lived with a rugby girl for a short time, and she's the queen of chicken wings. She can make chicken wings like I've never seen anybody make chicken wings. She is the queen of chicken wings. So I thought, I know what they had. They probably had 60 or 100 tons of chicken wings. And beer, there would be lots and lots of beer. Rugby boys and rugby girls love beer. So anyway, it's just an observation, and I like George Clooney's wife, Amel, quite a lot. She is really, she has a certain directness about her that it looks to me like she cuts through the bullshit and goes right to the heart of the matter. And George, of course, he had a tequila company that he sold for $1 billion. And George looks to me like I saw him coming, the red carpet walk up to the church. I said, George, you've had a couple. Amel did not look like she had been drinking at all. She was quite glamorous. George kept smiling and laughing a little bit. He almost looked fidgety, like, let me be the bartender. Let's dance. So anyway, here we are in Canada under Napoleonic Code. We used to have English common law. Now we've got Napoleonic Code. It is the influence of one province over the rest of Canada, because in Quebec they have Napoleonic Code. The rest of Canada is supposed to have English common law, but we don't anymore. It has crept its way right across Canada. The people are shut out from justice. Even when you do win, if you could, and I've hired 2 lawyers, they both lost. They couldn't believe it. One of them, he was a rugby boy. He was president of the Rugby Society. He drank himself to death when he discovered that the judge had had a private meeting with the lawyer for the Crown. Her name is Elizabeth Wolfram. And he lost his case because the judge wouldn't let him win, even though he had convinced the judge that I'm innocent. Judge Patrick Dome would not allow it. My lawyer was so angry, and I found out later, being a rugby guy, he likes to drink beer. He died of cirrhosis of the liver. He drank himself to death. He was a cop for 22 years. 22 years. He had a terrible loss of faith in the system after this. It doesn't matter if you're innocent in Canada. It does not matter. It is only a suggestion to the Crown. Nothing is binding on the Crown. So if you have the wrong judge, which we always seem to do, and then when the judge makes a decision, even if you won and the judge decides in your favor, the Crown can just say fuddle-duddle to you. You're not getting your just desserts here. You're out. That's how we do it here in Canada. I got to get going now. My time is up. Thanks very much for listening. I hope everyone's having a good day. And Harry and Prince William, apparently Meghan, the new wife of Harry, is trying to convince the boys to make up with their daddy, since after Mommy Diana died in a car crash. Daddy abandoned both boys. And they feel hard done by about that. So now Meghan is trying to make them kiss and make up. It must be hard, though. Prince Charles's new wife, he had been having an affair with her before he met Diana, got married. That affair carried on through the marriage. Princess Diana will tell you, there's a third party here. He kept it from her. So it makes the boys a little angry. Thank God they have some discernment about them, because usually, from what I have seen, people try to, if you try to cover up these kind of issues in your life, it leads to no good. You're going to have to bring them to the light. And I personally don't think, I shouldn't say this, but I don't think Prince Charles deserves to be the king. I don't think he does. Goodbye, everybody. Have fun.